folks, sorry to spoil your fun, but you're not going to hear the volume associated with this racist video that shows these guys from the fraternity at the University of Oklahoma, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, singing a song basically saying that they aren't going to have any black students as members of their fraternity, and they are advocating assault against anyone black because they're black, in a form of assault known as lynching. No, you're not going to hear that. Instead, what you're going to hear is my story. I attended the University of Texas at Arlington from 1980 to 1985. And then from 85 to 87, I went to Cal and got my master's degree in city and regional planning. Undergrad city planning, master's city planning. Undergrad Texas was an interesting experience. I haven't been back to Texas and Arlington yet. Not because I had a bad experience, I just haven't. But I got to know a group of guys at a fraternity that had some of the most fun parties ever. Yes, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, all white. Some of the best people I've ever met in my life at that time. All really nice to me. No one ever said anything that was racist, and they even extended the invitation for me to become a member. I didn't accept the invitation because my family wanted me to join an African American fraternity, which, frankly speaking, I won't mention, didn't treat me anywhere near as well as the Sig Eps did. Just being honest, okay? That was 1982. Now, or technically really 82 through 84 when I was attending the parties. Then I had to hunker down and get out, right? But the bottom line is I had a great time. And the other bottom line is if guys, white, can be that great then, there's no excuse for these Sig Eps to behave this way in 2015. Zero. None. I don't care what they learned from their parents. I don't care who they hung out with. Racism is a mental illness. And today, now, more so than ever, people who behave that way are thought of as being on the fringes of society. People to be avoided and shunned and not employed. People who are thought of as the garbage scow of society, just being absolutely frank. So if you don't want to be thought of that way, don't act like that. That's simple. Because those guys at the now former Sig Ep fraternity in Oklahoma, at the University of Oklahoma, are going to have a hard time getting a job if they even mention they were a member of this fraternity chapter. That is just a fact. They have screwed the pooch. So again, I want to make it clear. Yeah, their actions, from my experience with Sig Eps, don't speak for Sig Eps as a whole. However, there is one problem that needs to be straightened out. If you go to the Sigma Alpha Epsilon website, it mentions that it's the first fraternity established in the Deep South. The problem is some chapters take that history a bit too far, and I have a feeling that one of those chapters was the University of Oklahoma. There has to be a redefinition of what it is to represent the Deep South. It doesn't have to be tied to racism. It doesn't have to be tied to slavery. It should be tied to a type of hospitality and respect for others that is true in today's society that marks the South in a way that other regions can't talk about. That should be the definition of the Deep South. These young men learned that bad behavior from someone, and if it's their parents are going to pay the price as well, because their parents are going to have to deal with the embarrassment brought on to their families by their kids' behavior. Racism is a mental illness, and Sig Eps are okay.